What should you invest in? Should you get a treasury bill or should you get a government bond? Which one is your favorite? I'm going to give you 7 smart ways to choose between a T-bill and a bond. The first thing you want to look at is how long can I invest? By now, we all know that T-bills are short term, while bonds are long term. Ask yourself, when do I need this money? If you need the money in the short term, then you might want to consider a T-bill. Number 2, you want to look at the inflation risk. A T-bill is not exposed to inflation so much because it is short term compared to a bond, isn't it? You can predict the inflation rate that is going to be there in Zambia in a period of 1 year than in 15 years. 15 years is quite a long time. It's very difficult to predict. But we know if inflation is 11% in January, probably it might remain the same even by the time we are going to be in December. You want to consider inflation risk when choosing between a government bond or a treasury bill. If the inflation in a country is volatile, like it keeps on changing, you are safer to invest in a T-bill. Number 3, you want to consider the returns that you will get on your investment. T-bills offer lower returns compared to bonds. T-bills are more safer, the risk is lower compared to bonds. So you expect a high interest rate on bonds compared to T-bills. So if what you want are higher returns and you can wait, then you can go ahead and choose a bond. That is number 3. Number 4, you want to ask yourself a question: when do you need this money? T-bills are more liquid because you can invest for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. So if you want to touch your money soon, you might need to consider a T-bill. But if you don't have immediate plans of touching that money, then you can consider a bond. Number 5, you want to consider your investment goals. T-bills are good for short-term goals. If you've got goals like saving for a vehicle or maybe saving for emergencies, T-bills can be a good way to invest. But if you are thinking about preparing for retirement or maybe preparing for an education for your child, you might want to consider bonds. So before you invest, ask yourself, what are my investment goals? Number 6, you want to look at your income needs. T-bills don't pay regular interest, but of course they give you a lump sum at the end of the investment period, isn't it? On the other hand, bonds pay regular interest in the form of coupons throughout their investment period. So if you want regular income, if you want cash flow on your investment, maybe you might want to consider buying bonds. But if you want a lump sum, then just go ahead and invest in a treasury bill. The final thing that you want to consider are market conditions. If the market is volatile, you want to consider going for T-bills and not bonds. Bonds are better if the economy is stable, if the market is stable. So look at the current economic condition. Is the economy uncertain? If you feel that it's uncertain, then you go ahead and get a T-bill, since you'll be much safer in that way. So to decide between a treasury bill or a bond, think about how soon you need the money, how much risk you can handle, and whether you prefer a steady income or a lump sum. T-bills can be safer, short-term option during uncertain economic times, while bonds offer better returns for long-term goals if you can wait and you don't mind a lot about inflation and interest risk. So to protect yourself from the effects of inflation, of course, you might want to consider diversifying. If you are not clear, feel free to ask. If you've got any contributions about this topic, feel free to contribute. This is your money and business coach, Jones Chipeta. If you've got any questions, inbox me. If you have got a question, you can ask inside the group. And if you want a personalized one-on-one coaching in terms of investing in bonds, you can book for a consultation call, and then we can have a phone conversation with you, or we can have a Google meeting. Maybe you want me to talk to you and your spouse. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for listening.